I know Arch Manning is the guy who got all the hype, but the better quarterback here was Gunnar Stockton by a mile. Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm John Barbin. With me is Jeff Dover, and let's talk football.
We're a couple of average football fans that watch college, the NFL. We hope to earn your like and subscribe today. Before we get going, we have a new feature here, Saturday versus Sunday. You can now email us your thoughts about the games you watch or as soon as it's over. We always engage our listener in the comments, which happens obviously after the pods drop. But if you're lucky and you email us your comments, you might be mentioned on the pod when we do our review of the game. So just email us at SaturdayVersusSunday@gmail.com to send us your thoughts of the game you're watching. That's SaturdayVSSunday@gmail, and we'll include those for our next reviews for next week. So, but until then, this is our review of the Texas-Georgia game. What are your initial thoughts, Barbin?
I think the Bulldogs are rounding into form into what looks like a complete team at just the right time of the year.
Yeah, and this was a classic boa constrictor type situation where the Georgia's just wearing them down. Like, they had 21 points in the fourth quarter. Like, this was a close game most of the game, but it was just too much for Texas at the end, and it really shows you like how much Georgia could lean on them and the personnel they have. It was too much over 4 quarters.
Yeah, so okay, where are we here? We're 14-10 with 5:20 left in the third quarter. Now, thinking back, this didn't feel like it was that close, but that's where we were. This was a competitive game until 5 minutes left in the third, and okay, so where we have here, the thing that I think broke Texas's back is that onside kick recovery.
Oh, that was critical. Yeah, that was like, and what a crazy call. Okay, that is a massive, massive call. It's hats off to the coaching staff for even calling that. And they would have seen something on tape, right? They would have seen like the return team for Texas, like just sort of turning around and running and not paying attention to it. And so that is a really good coaching thing. Like, they called it at the right time, and it was executed perfectly. So that was another thing. Like, hats off to the kickers. That went exactly 10 yards, and the guy grabbed it at sort of like yard 11. So that was amazing to see. Couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah, and to me, that was because they scored the touchdown right before that. I think. Yeah. And they're still holding Texas to 10 points, right? So I think Smart. My guess is Smart thought, okay, we just scored a touchdown. We took the momentum back, because previous to that, Ryan Wingo just scored that big touchdown that got to Texas up to 10-14, 14-10 Georgia. So like now with 5 minutes left in the third quarter, that's when Texas finally is in the game and has the momentum, right? They got the momentum getting themselves in that game. And then on that subsequent drive, my note here is Georgia converts a 4th and 1 in minus territory, in their own territory, with that fake handoff and then a throw into the flat, which was a great play. Then on then another 4th down conversion when they get Texas offside, which was that. I mean, that is indicative of Georgia-Texas games. It seems like Texas cannot get out of their own way, and he pulled them offside and they blew it.
Yeah, and I had that listed, if I'm listing like impact plays, because I had the onside kick is probably like the number one, but I had tied for number one was that 4th down, that offside penalty for Texas, because that was 4th and 5. Like your defense has stopped them. You have to get the ball back in that situation in order to have a chance at this game. And then to go offside and give them a free play in the first down, that's an absolute killer. Because that is the same as a change of possession, because you stopped them. You're supposed to get the ball back. And so you cannot go offside there. That's really one of the – so my two – we'll get back to but the takeaways was that Georgia could run the ball and Texas couldn't. Okay, that was – and then the Texas penalties were the other thing that I thought was the key factor in the game.
Yeah, again, this is whenever we covered – Texas throughout last year and the 2 Texas-Georgia games, they're just, not to take away from Georgia, but Texas just is not a buttoned-up team. They're still not a buttoned-up team during the game. It's like dotting, what do you dot an I and cross a T? Like all the detail stuff, whatever, cross the I, dot the T, whatever.
Yeah.
They
you
don't
can't
have
cross
that
the L in this game.
No, they don't. They just don't seem to have it buttoned up. And in a game like this against a team as good as Georgia, you can't have a dumb mistake like offside on a 4th and 5.
Yeah, no,
are you kidding? Now maybe they convert it anyways, but don't just hand it to them.
No, yeah, that's handing it to them. In a game like this where you're fighting for everything, you can't do that. No, it's 9 penalties versus 1 for Georgia. Now, if you're the Texas fan, you're probably saying it wasn't, official in a fair way, because at 9-1 is a pretty significant discrepancy. But it didn't. Watching the game, it looked like they were letting a lot of stuff go, and they were only I don't remember too many Texas penalties that felt too ticky-tack. Like, it was pretty, legitimate stuff. But I mean, Texas fans won't feel the same way. But it's but you can't. The penalties hurt them. Like, that's the one thing you can agree on.
Yeah. So on that drive, right after Texas scores to get within 4 points, Georgia converts 2 4th downs, and then the touchdown was that awesome fake toss play, and then over the middle, and he hits him he's wide open over the middle. So they go 21-10 there. Then the onside kick, which they had no clue was coming. This was, I think somebody mentioned, I don't know who I was listening to, mentioned that's similar to when the Saints did it. Sean Payton did it when they were playing against Peyton Manning and the Colts, and it was smart because it was like, we don't want to give Manning the ball right here, and it is a ballsy play. So my thought here was Kirby Smart, having won multiple national championships, has nothing left to prove. Right? He's at the summit. Doesn't matter if he didn't win it last year. He's in that tiny little grouping that's going to be there for a while now, and I think it's just he's playing with house money making this call. This is, if this goes wrong and they lose this game somehow on that onside kick, there's nothing anyone in the Georgia administration there's nothing anyone can say to him. I think you would just be like, man, that's a ballsy move to go for it. And there's just it's not going to affect his career. It's not going to affect anyone's perception of him. Nothing. It's almost like, given his resume, he has the freedom to make that ballsy of a call in that moment.
Yeah, that has to be part of it because it's a ridiculous call. It's a pretty close game still. It's not, if it goes wrong and Texas scores quickly, it's going to look terrible. But listen, Georgia's defense is really good. Texas had 23 yards running. Well, their running back had 37 yards running, and then Arch Manning was -17 because of all the sacks. So that really held them to not much, to nothing running the ball. So Georgia's defense is outstanding. So it makes that call easier going for it, on the onside kick, knowing your defense is awesome. So that is part of it. But yeah, that's good for him. You're absolutely right about the momentum. When you score back-to-back touchdowns and the other team didn't have the ball back ever, that you're never going to overcome that in a big game like this.
Yeah, I have in my notes, it broke their spirit. I stopped short of saying they quit, but in that moment, when they convert the 2 third downs, get the touchdown, get the onside kick, convert again. Oh, and also after that onside kick, the running game, they were just plowing over them. They were steamrolling them, gashing them for first downs on first down. Just got anything they wanted, they had on the ground.
Exactly, and that's part of the time of possession too, because they wanted 35 minutes to 20, almost 25 minutes. So it's 10 minutes more time of possession, and that's really where you're going to see the difference in the fourth quarter. Those runs that were 2-3 yards in the first half are now 5 to 7 yards in the second half, and there's nothing more soul crushing for a defense is not being able to stop the run at a time when you're down, and the only way you're going to get back is by stopping them, and they couldn't do it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So my other note here is I just think he outcoached him. Kirby outcoached him, and Mike Bobo in the second half there, especially in the fourth quarter, he was calling a great game. And in that last stretch there, it looked like Texas just didn't. He had them guessing the whole way at the end.
Yeah. And Georgia fans I feel like you're pretty hot and cold with Bobo. Sometimes they think he's horrendous and sometimes they're happy about it and stuff, but he's a good offensive coordinator. And Sarkisian is known as a bad genius and a really good offensive coordinator and calling the plays and stuff. But you're right. I think Bobo outcoached them this game. Him and Smart, and and you could see how much this meant. Like, I've never seen them show Bobo so much in the booth than they did in this broadcast, because and he was, really losing it every time they got a touchdown and stuff, which, hats off to him, because he called a terrific game, and they were in a really good position he put the players in a really good position.
Yeah, and I think your play calling can look really special when you can run the ball, because you can put the second level in a blender and they have no idea what's coming, and it's almost like everything works. On the Texas side, it doesn't matter if Sarkisian is one of the more brilliant play callers. When you can't run the ball, half of your playbook's out the window, because they're not going to respect play action. Yeah. And then after that, you're stuck. You're just one-dimensional. There's nothing. No matter, it doesn't matter who's back there. If you're one-dimensional, you're going to have a really hard time beating a team like this. And I know earlier in the season they were criticizing Georgia's defense for being not that great. Well, it looked pretty goddamn good in this game.
Yeah, it looked really good in this game. That was a note in my first half. We talk about notes difference between the first half and the second half, like the Texas A&M South Carolina game. Go back and watch that review if you haven't seen that one yet. But in the first half, I was like, Manning looks pretty good. Like, the defense was really good. He's not getting any help with running the ball, but he looked like once he got settled in with the pressure, like he has a good arm. He was putting in the right position. Like, he was playing pretty well. And so he still finished 27 for 43 for 251 yards and a TD, and he had the interception, but it wasn't bad, but it was they weren't going to be able to do it one dimensional, like you said. They needed more help running the ball.
Speaking of interceptions, we have to give a shout out to KJ Bolden for that interception in their own red zone. Again, we always talk about this. Turning the ball over in either red zone is such a killer. Like, that is
such a killer, because you're in field goal range, and so that it's taking points off. And if the other team comes back and gets a field goal or a touchdown, that's like a 14-point swing, 10-point swing. So there's an absolute killer red zone interceptions or red zone turnovers.
Yeah. And then, and now Texas pays the favor back. But I think, okay, so where else? I got a couple players I want to highlight here. So players, right. First of all, Zachariah Branch, how on earth, how did USC let this guy go?
I don't know.
That to me is just Percy Harvin, and I don't. Now whatever. I don't know what happened at USC. Maybe he didn't feel like he was getting used enough, but I'm sure Georgia's fans are pretty happy that they found a reason to not keep him, a guy that dynamic, on the roster. He just looks like he's going to go for a touchdown every time he touches the ball. He's such a threat.
I'm assuming it's an NIL thing was involved with that, but you're absolutely right. Like, if you're talent-wise, you don't want this guy to go. So he's a great player. I'm still surprised. I expect him to be more dominant in the receiving game. Like, he doesn't. I don't know if it's the route running or whatever, but like, he should be open every time. Like, it's not. But you're absolutely right. It's a few people as dynamic as him once you get him the ball, like, out in space. He's amazing.
Maybe he just needs to learn more. Maybe he just needs to be smarter with. Maybe he'll just evolve into a better receiver, but just the threat of him being on the field, I'd like to see him progress. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they had enough talent at USC that somehow he actually is there's not enough plays to get the ball to him, given the other guys they have, which sounds crazy given how dynamic he is. But then like you brought it up, he looks like, even here on Georgia, he looks like he should be more getting more out of him in the pass game than they are right now. Either way, having him returning kicks, returning punts, and in the receiving game, he just jumps off the screen when he has the ball. So
no, he does.
I had to mention that.
The same thing about Delp. I think he looks really good. Now Georgia sort of after Bowers had been there, wasn't really sure if they're going to get another dynamic tight end, but he looks great, and he hasn't. He's not as dominant as Bowers, but like, he's still a really effective tight end weapon for them too. So he looks fantastic.
All right, jumping over onto the Texas side, this isn't really. I mean, they had some drops too, like
key drops. Yes, that was my in my first half notes was drops. The drops and the penalties are really what hurt Texas early on, but the drops were absolutely critical. Like, it would have converted a first down or not, and so like that's a absolute killer.
Yeah,
especially when you're not running the ball. So
yeah, Wingo dropped a big one in the red zone. You know what, Georgia fans, Santiago, is this? So this is what it felt like playing against Georgia, watching you guys drop the ball all the time. Like this is it's nice. It's nice, and the other team drops it a couple of times against you. You know. So, but yeah, it's between like holding calls, false starts, and dropping. I mean, Washington dropped an open. It's just, but they're just killing themselves. Not to take away from Georgia's defense, but you have to, Georgia fans, you have to admit there were a few open plays where Texas's what's supposed to be best receivers are just flat out dropping the ball.
Yeah, that would have changed. Obviously, it changes the game. It would have changed the game script significantly. You know, like if this game is tied going in the half or like 14-10 or something, like that is a big difference, you know, because they come out and score at the beginning of the second half, you know, like so that they could have been leading at that point. So that those were critical drops, and the penalties early was really would put them in a bad position to try and come back against a team like this.
Yeah, and I don't want to project if that changes the way Sarkisian calls the game. Probably not, but if it changes Manning's confidence, or maybe Manning presses to be even more precise with a pass. He's like, well, he couldn't catch that one. Maybe what do I have to do?
Yep.
Like, stick it right into his face mask? Like, anyway, so that's just something that they're plagued with, it seems like, and they need to clear that up too. But I think this is just an elimination game for them anyways. But on the opposite side of drops, Noah Thomas getting the first 2 touchdowns for Georgia, and the second one was on a dirty route. Like like in and then back out, and then the defender had no chance. I thought the defender was actually in good position, but that route was so crisp, he had no chance. And if you watch the replay, there was also someone wide open on the backside in. So he had 2 options. Now he threw the maybe more difficult pass to complete, but Stockton threw a total dart there.
No, that was awesome. And listen, Stockton with 24 for 29 for 229 and 4 TDs. Like that's you'll take that all day long.
Well, he ran in a fifth.
Yeah, that's true. That was the other note that I have here. Apparently, Ryan Niblett must be an amazing returner, because the way that they were sacrificing their kicking away, just making sure he didn't get it, was unbelievable. Like there was huge changes in field position, just trying to make sure he doesn't get it. So apparently that guy's amazing, because there was one time
he had a 54-yard return that got called back on a holding. So that must have scared the daylights out of him. Well,
but it was like that one time they kicked it out as like midfield instead of giving it to him, which was nuts. But
I mean,
anyway, good. He's apparently that good.
Yeah. Well, and he flashed it. He flashed it there. But again, a Texas holding call took it back. But I'm glad you brought that up about Stockton. He's obviously on the thumbnail of this episode. He was the man. Like he plays like how he looks. Like he's 40, like 35 years old with kids. Like he's just a veteran. He's poised. He under fire. He just looks like he's been there like a long time. He's just got it.
Yeah, he does. And we've talked a lot about fit with teams and stuff, and he is the perfect Georgia quarterback. Like you don't make few mistakes, if any, distributes the ball well, is good arm, great with the play action, and can run and get the first down if you need it. I mean, that'd be great on any team, but I just think he fits Georgia so well in terms of the personnel and the way he leads the team and stuff. It's just a great fit.
Yeah, he was. I mean, 5 touchdowns. He was all the scoring, right? Like 5 touchdowns. Yeah, so right. I mean, I know Arch Manning is the guy who got all the hype, but the better quarterback here was Gunnar Stockton by a mile.
Good call.
Yep. All right. That's kind of. Let me see what I got on my notes here. That's kind of all I have for game notes. I mean, the other sort of overall takeaway message here is Georgia got stronger, as all good teams do, stronger as the game went on. And man, just the final stretch there, seeing Kirby Smart just go for it and just step on their throats and just kill them at the end there. That's not good news for anyone playing Georgia coming up, because it's almost like I don't know how else to say it. It just seems like Smart has the freedom to just go for it whenever, like, go for it, where other coaches might hold back a bit.
Well, and I think that's an excellent point. How many games have we reviewed where there's a team winning and then they start playing prevent defense and the other team starts moving the ball a lot, all of a sudden gets a couple scores, like makes it a one possession game or something like that. And Smart absolutely did not do that with Georgia. Like they kept the foot down, like you said, the whole time. And they won now by like 25 points, which was amazing. And so that is so refreshing at this day and age that we don't see someone play that prevent defense. And, you know, like it's just, like you said, foot on them the whole time and dominated the game at the end in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looking back at it, and it just doesn't even make sense that it was 14-10 with 5 minutes to go in the third. And then afterwards you're like, oh yeah, Texas had no chance. But they obviously did. But the end was so overwhelming. It was just a complete avalanche after that moment that it was like, oh yeah, they why didn't they do it sooner? It's like obviously you can't say that, but he pulled it out right when he needed it to, and it just I mean that ends Texas's playoff hopes. It's SEC championship hopes. That's basically wipes Texas off the national stage now. Now they're pretty much an afterthought.
Yeah, 7-3. They're not going to make it. They still have a game against Texas A&M left, which if they win that, all of a sudden things would get a little interesting. But no, and it's that Texas had a window of opportunity at the beginning, which they didn't take advantage of because of the penalties and the drops. And then after Georgia's had the ball for 10 minutes more than them, they couldn't stop the run, and Texas was never able to run the ball themselves. So like that, you know, that's why it felt like such a convincing win at the end for Georgia. Hats off to them. That was a great win for them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. The final notes on Texas is you can't make mistakes like the penalties. You can't make mistakes like dropping the ball, and you can't be a one-dimensional team and actually think you're beating a good team, any of the top teams. Like I mean, that's hard to beat anyone, but like a Georgia, you're not beating Georgia playing like that.
No.
All right, is that everything you got on your notes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything I got. All right. Well, if you're still with us, we appreciate you checking out the channel. We know it's small. We just started it last year. So if you like what we got going on and you'd like to support us, a like and a subscribe would go a long way, and we'd super appreciate it. So for Jeff Dover, I'm John Barbin, and that's your Saturday versus Sunday podcast.